Let's give Thanos a facelift. So I started with this 3D model I found. This was totally free. It's a bust of Thanos. Now all I'm going to need is his face. So I sliced his face off, keeping just the bits I need. And I sliced this in NetFab, which is a free app. And now this is how long it's going to take. Just over 20 hours in my 3D printing software. And I'm printing this hollow to keep the weight down. And this should be able to be done with no supports. I don't use the 3D printing lac spray you can get. I just use hairspray, which is a lot cheaper and is more or less exactly the same thing, and it works really well. Nice and tidy in here. Do it. There we go. That's right, you get to work, my robotic slave. I'll check back on you in a little bit. Not looking too bad. That's pretty cool. So the face is printed pretty well. I'm going to have to take this bottom piece off, so I'm just going to cut that off. So the face is now hollow because it's got no back on it, although you don't wear it as a mask with this costume. There are a couple of bits I need to fill in, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So this is the old face, and I've just cut that off, and the new one should fit nicely in its place if I've scaled it correctly, which, as you can see, I have. Let's try the helmet on that just to see what it's going to look like. And that looks pretty cool. Now, as you might have noticed, there's some gaping holes in the side of his head where his temples are. That's where I scaled it a bit wrong by the looks of it, didn't account for that. So these are those pieces of the side of his head that should then bring that far enough so there's no gaps in it. Oh my god, how did it print the tops of those? It literally printed the top layers on thin air. Not going to complain, pretty cool. Right, let's get those off there. So this is the face, and I've welded the parts together with a wood burner. And then on this one side here, I've thinned down some of this knife and putty with some acetone and then brushed it on, and this smells horrible. I'm going to do the rest of this outside, I think, and then sanded it down, and just feeling that it feels a lot smoother. I can't really feel those layer lines. I only roughly sanded this. I'm going to do it with some more sandpaper as well, but the plan being is I don't want to sand the plastic down because the plastic is hard on the sand, and also I will lose plastic, I will lose strength. So the plan is to fill the gaps, the lines, with something, this filler, and then knock it back so it's the same level as the plastic. That didn't take long to sand, that it literally took a minute. It's quite easy to sand, so I'm going to cover the whole thing in this. I've got to file out those irons first, cover the whole thing, and then leave it to tomorrow, and then sand it down, and it should be ready to paint. So I'm out here in the garden. This is now been drying overnight, and it looks really good. So this has now been sanded with some rough and then some slightly finer sandpaper to make it as smooth as possible. So I need to stick it into the head. The paint I'm using is a bit of purple and white mixed together to make this light purple colour, and I've made a new thing on the bottom of this to attach it to my head too. So I'm just painting this on with a brush and a sponge to get a bit more of a skin texture. And it really is just one colour, all there is to it, easy peasy. And here it is with the helmet on. Looks pretty cool. Now for the eyes, all I did for them is print out some blue eyes on ordinary paper, and then I covered them with a piece of sellotape to make them nice and shiny, and just stuck them in from the inside. I've also made the new mounting system for Thanos' head to give it more stability. All I've got to do now is cover my face. To cover my own face, I have covered the face hole with a sheer black fabric. It's just some ladies' tights actually, and then covered the neck part of the costume in some blue fabric to blend it in with the rest of the costume.
I obey. Thank you for your cooperation. He's a big lad. I think I'll leave him alone.